Okay, so welcome, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, from wherever you're watching on based on your time. So today we're gonna start part 2 of the series that we're gonna call Attached. Okay? So this is part 2. I already knew what I was gonna call the second part, but I only gathered up my thoughts right now. So I thought it would be best if I just put everything out there, right? So I was thinking, and I'm like, there are different ways to be attached to something. And there's a way that you can be attached to something to the extent that it actually keeps you captive. And it doesn't have to just be something, it can be someone. And the thing, what that does is it keeps you in this place, this mindset, where your whole mind, your whole world just revolves around that person to make either him or her happy, to please her or him, just thinking about him, and you realize that you have no more space, that you have no more time for God, that you have no more time to spend with him, and you realize you actually start valuing him, valuing that person more than you actually value God. And that person becomes your top priority. And as we said last week, God wants us to value him most, to be our top priority, right? And I was thinking, for some people, it's technology. For some people, whenever any new type of technology comes out, whether it's a phone, whether it's a computer, whether it's a watch, they out of nowhere, they're just in your hand. And you see, this was a few months ago, they just announced this new phone, and one of my friend's moms, the day after, I just look at her and I'm like, isn't that the new phone? I'm like, Mom, isn't that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I bet. That's great. And it was cool the first time, but the second it kept on happening, and I'm like, where did you just out of nowhere? I'm just like, what? And I'm like, what's happening here? And you realize that she's obsessed with the latest technology, and whenever she realizes that she doesn't have the best or the latest version of something, she becomes insecure. And it starts to keep her captive because her mind is just occupied. Is this the latest one? And whenever a new one comes out, she feels insecure and says, now I'm second best. I want to be best. And God said that I thought I was your first. I thought I was your number one priority. Lately you haven't been talking to me because he's texting me. And he's saying, what about me? Drop the phone. Stop texting her. Leave the game. Talk to me. I have something to tell you. But you don't hear him, or rather you hear him, but you ignore it because you've gone so attached to that person that you don't have enough space to actually serve God. And he starts to occupy your mind that you even starts to forget him. And in situations like that, that's when your spirit man becomes weaker and weaker, because you haven't even been feeding your spirit man, you've just been feeding your flesh. And that's all I wanted to tell you today. But before we end this, I just want to ask you, what are you attached to? Is what you're attached to driving God away or bringing him closer to you? So I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.